Myanmar is back on the world stage after years of isolation. In April, the EU lifted the last of its sanctions against the country, and with me to discuss the challenges and hopes of the banking sector is Moo Sun from Ayeyarwady Bank. Mr. Moo Sun, welcome. First, give us an overview of the banking sector in Myanmar and the period of isolation that we've been through.
At the top would be the Central Bank of Myanmar. Used to be Central Bank of Myanmar is a department of the Ministry of Finance, but now they have their independence. Below that would be the 4 state-owned banks, and there are now 21 private banks. For some 50 years, they have been in isolation. The banking then, in fact, still very much now, is very cash-based. Very little financial intermediation between the depositors and borrowers, for the fact that there's very little accessibility of service.
There's been a period of change in the last few years, and it's true to say that you're getting a lot of interest from international investors now.
Since 2011, there have been a lot of changes, politically and economically. The banking sector itself, we have seen a lot of changes as well. Some of the key reforms would be the unification of the exchange rate. That was an important part of the reforms. With the new foreign investment law, there's now a lot more interest, in the country. The opportunities are there, right? With a population of 60 million, a very young and educated workforce, and because Myanmar sits in a very strategic geographic location with its abundant resources, plenty of opportunities.
Tell us about Ayeyarwady Bank. Who are your clients and what services do you provide?
We started operations in August 2010, so we are a relatively young bank, just over 3 years old. Today we have 45 branches. Our customer base is about 150,000, and in terms of financials, we are over 500 million in assets. Our deposit customers are mostly retail customers, with some 80% of our deposits being individuals. On the loans, we have a lot more businesses. In terms of the products and services, for the domestic, we provide all sorts of services, from deposits, loans, to making remittances, safe deposit boxes, so the whole lot, as far as the domestic business is concerned. In terms of international business, we provide foreign exchange, foreign currency accounts, overseas remittances, and letter of credits. So pretty much cover the basic international services that we have.
And what's the bank's strategy going forward?
I think one of the key things would be to make our services accessible to the population. So one of the key strategic action plans that we have is to grow our branch network. Today we have 45 branches. We hope to have 100 branches within the next 2 years. We are aggressively trying to expand on our card services, and we hope to be able to offer debit cards and credit cards. So that is on the domestic side. On the international side, we feel that we can be a leader in this market, because it's a fairly new business for private banks. On the corporate side, I think it's important that we actually include all stakeholders. So in areas of governance particularly, I think this one area that we need to enhance. So going forward, those are 3 core areas that we are looking at.
Finally, give us your future outlook for the banking sector in Myanmar over the next 5 to 10 years.
Just looking at the figures, comparing 2007 and 2012, the deposit portfolio has grown some 8 times. Now that gives you an indication of the trust, in the banking sector domestically. Now with the foreign investors, coming in, once the government stabilizes, we expect growth to be even more tremendous. One of the areas that would benefit most would be the banking sector. So for banks with the right strategy, I think they'll be able to capture quite a lot of those businesses. So we are very optimistic about the potential for the banking industry.
Mr. Moo Sun, thank you.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.